Hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm Marshall Lee and this is Freestyle Fighting. Will sparring give you the skills to fight in real life? Will you be able to defend yourself on the street if you spar in the gym? Now, this is a question that I get quite a lot. If you want your own questions answered, leave them below or get in touch with me with any of my social media that's linked below too. I'll be happy to answer them. I'll speak to you all in the comments, and the best questions I'll make into a video like this one. So I got asked on my Tumblr, hi, I was wondering if someone who takes martial arts classes, learns the techniques and spars, would they actually build the skills to defend themselves in a self-defense situation? Do you have to compete in actual competitions to build the skills to be really able to use it in a self-defense situation? May you ask other people in the Boodobler community to ask also. So that's on the Tumblr community, but if you've got any answers for this person, post them below. I would love to hear what you think. Now, I'm going to come at this from a couple different points of view. I'm going to give you my experience on the question, and I'm going to give you the experience that I've seen as a coach, so helping lots of other people. Hopefully this will give you a little bit of perspective. So my first thought is that if somebody doesn't spar, if they don't practice their techniques against a real person, if you don't practice them against a real person who's not letting you do it, someone who's trying to do moves on you too, then you're never going to be able to do techniques for real. That said, just because you're sparring doesn't mean that you're going to be able to fight on the street. So from my point of view, I started training as a youngster. I was 7 years old. I was getting bullied. I had my skull cracked open on a curb, so it was pretty serious. I started learning self-defense, and while that made me fitter and stronger, I was learning traditional karate. I still didn't have the confidence to get into a fight outside. Now, that's not looking for a fight. That's when trouble comes my way. I still wasn't able to stand my ground after 2-3 years of training. If you spend 2 or 3 years training in something, you better bloody well be able to do it. So for me, in that particular form, I couldn't spar at first. Don't get me wrong, I got confident by sparring, but I was confident sparring people I knew in the gym. That's completely different to you being outside and some idiot coming up behind you when you're at the cash point, or someone jumping you while you're waiting for the bus, or after you say goodbye to your mates on a night out and you're walking home on your own and 2-3 lads come at you out of an alley. That's a completely different situation. At first, sparring is a bit intimidating, whether you're rolling or whether it's a striking art like boxing or kickboxing. It doesn't matter. You're going into the gym knowing there are people more experienced than you that already know how to do these things. So that can be intimidating, and it does build confidence sparring in that way. But as I say, as a youngster, for me, the sparring prepared me for more sparring. Think about it that way. The sparring prepared me to be better at sparring. Yeah. So it was within a certain level, and I never really went outside that as a youngster. It wasn't until I changed gyms and I started training with Evade and we were doing freestyle karate that we were actually sparring realistically, and it was after that that I was then able to defend myself. The second part of the question about competition, do you have to go to competition really to be able to fight? I think it's an important part of your training competition. People will, I don't, say things like, I don't want to compete. It's not about fighting for me. It's not about the trophies. It's not about the medals. And at the end of the day, it's really not. That just motivates you early on. That just gets you going, and it's a nice bit of prestige afterwards. I can look at these and I can think about the effort that I spent to get them. I can look at my black belt and think about the effort I've spent, and that does give me confidence. It reaffirms that what I'm doing is working, because you can get confidence sparring in your gym, sparring with people that you know. But then as soon as you have to defend yourself or impose your will against someone you don't know, people can fall apart because they don't have the confidence to do just that. So sparring can take you up from that level of not being good with confrontation at all to being able to deal with a level of confrontation, and it will give you confidence. However, if someone is just far too aggressive, too angry, catches you by surprise, you're not prepared, that sparring can go out of the window. So you do need to do levels of sparring, and competition can give you that extra level where you're fighting and training with somebody who you don't know, who's not going to be really nice to you. You can be training in the gym and you're sparring. Let's say you're having a bad day and everyone keeps catching you. Your sparring partners and your friends, they might go easy on you. If you're training for a fight, it's a bit different, but we're talking day-to-day training, year-to-year training. You go and fight and spar with someone you don't know, they won't give you that liberty. If you're having a bad day, they're having a good day, they don't care, they're going to take first place in the tournament. So competition, to my mind, is really important, and it's an important part of your training. Not for competition's sake. I mean, that's great. If you like to compete, that's awesome, you know, power to you. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm getting back into it again. But you have to do it for the right reasons. If you treat competition as a form of training, I think then it can be most useful for you. So let me think. Sometimes as well, you know, thinking about it from a coach's point of view, I've had people come to me who've left their old martial arts and come to us at Evade because they weren't able to defend themselves. A similar story to me as a kid. You know, I was learning these techniques, I was learning certain positions with my hands down, which just meant when I get into a fight and someone was aggressive, they just punched me in the face. There's nothing I could do about that. Well, it's, you know, it's bad for a kid, but it can be even more dangerous for an adult getting attacked on a night out. You know, people die from that. So I've had more than one person, I've had many people over the years come to me and say, I've learned XYZ martial art. Doesn't matter what it is, you know, it can be a legit or it can be a crap martial art, it's how it's trained. But they'll come to me and say, Lee, I'd trained for X amount of years, I'd paid all this money to train, and when it came time to defend myself, the move didn't work because I was hitting someone who wasn't going to let me get away with it. So it's not as simple as saying you just have to spar. Sparring helps, but it has to be done in the correct spirit. And also competition helps, but it has to also be done in the right spirit. So, you know, I hope that really answers your question. Again, if you've got any points you want to add below, let me know, because I'd love to hear your point of view too. Now, I'll see you in the next video. I hope your training is going awesome, because mine is too. I'll see you soon. Peace.